party at 6, please. Yes, and we're hungry.
Come stay for dinner with the Clump family. 1996 remake The Nutty Professor, based on 1963's slapstick comedy by the same name that was directed by Jerry Lewis and starring. In the original, he's just an offbeat, quirky nerd until he takes his potion to boost his confidence, but he ends up losing his best qualities that makes him conceited. The 1996 version is quite different, with one main star playing all of the Clumps. His performances are really underrated in this film, as he plays 7 different characters, each which takes up to 3 to 4 hours of makeup, which ended up winning the film an Academy Award. This film is directed by Tom Shadyac, who also worked on other classic comedies such as Liar Liar. The supporting characters, also played by Eddie Murphy, are just as funny as its lead, Sherman Clump, who has the smarts but not the looks, until he makes a potion to make him thin. Like the original, this film also focuses on self-confidence and learning to just be happy with yourself. Not only is it extremely funny watching the characters interact with each other, with its crude humor, but it seems to get better every time you watch it. The family's dinner scene is obviously the best part of the first movie, and in 2000, The Clumps 2, we get twice as much interaction from them. The second film is directed by Peter Segal, that brings in even more of the fun that we were familiar with from the first. More farts, fat jokes, and of course, Eddie Murphy. If put on a scale, which one would outweigh the other? I think they equally have the same amount of laughs. In the first, there's a lot of dream sequences that go over the top, as does The Clumps. But this one strays even further from reality, with the youth juice, the giant gerbil, that sometimes goes a little too far. But the movie still manages to have heart, just like the first. And as silly as these films are, you can still understand them, and at some point in our lives we've all doubted ourselves, from our smarts to looks, and even being encouraged by our families. But sometimes to understand that advice, we had to experience it ourselves. And some things we might not want to, but The Nutty Professor 1 and 2 are something you definitely want to consider for any fan of comedy. Some may not consider it funny, but if you grew up with them and enjoy over-the-top humor, even though it becomes a parody, it's still fun to laugh at. And whether you're a fan of Eddie Murphy or not, the guy has talent, and he definitely shows it in every one of these characters, and the dedication to put on all these hours worth of costumes. Sherman Clump, Eddie Murphy, one man, many characters, both sharing the desire to become something better. And that's something I think these two comedies are.